Alright, let me give you a quick tutorial about how to use RunPod and run a Jupyter Notebook server with it. So I recommend starting off for development using a cheaper GPU and then later on switching off to like something more expensive when you do the training runs and you want to like leave it alone just because this is charged per hour. Um, and so you want to spend the time most effectively. I'm going to go ahead and select the RTX 4090. You're going to want to use this specific instance, this specific template. Uh, I believe this is the most up-to-date one. It also is one that comes with like a pre-set up Jupyter Notebook server, and so you can like go over here and look for it over here. I will note it's very weird. Like if you set up templates or use the like API to try to like launch a RunPod instance, for some reason it just like messes up the image. Why? I have no clue. Um, there are some ways around it, but not without a lot of fiddling. So just like select this like default template, and then you can go down, and then click deploy on demand. And we will wait for that to build. All right, let's wait for that. Again, I'm using like maybe a slightly more expensive instance than you need to, but I'm also going to be like running stuff very soon. All right, so now that it's up, connect to Jupyter Lab, and then if this comes up, let's wait for it. There we go. This means the Jupyter server is up. So we're not going to actually use it from here. Otherwise, we'd have to like migrate our files and stuff onto it. Instead, we just want to like connect to the Jupyter kernel that's running. So that way we can do like local development and use whatever tools we want to, and not have to like upload it onto the server and basically just do development locally. So to do this, you actually go to the edit pod, and then you can check the environment variables. And this right here will have the Jupyter password. So if we head over to, excuse me, Ooh, I'm a little bit sick. Yeah, so if we head over here, let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see it more. You'll go to select kernel, and then you can select another kernel, and then you're going to go to existing Jupyter server. This was a previous RunPod instance I had, and now you're going to want to enter the URL. So the URL is going to be just this one here, minus the lab. So we'll go ahead and do that. Typically, Jupyter servers are run on the port 8888, and so what actually happens is RunPod will create like a separate URL that links specifically to that port. So you won't be changing the port if you want to connect to like a different port with a RunPod instance. You'd actually be changing the full URL. So yeah, we'll connect to that. And then it's going to ask for the password, which we have right here. And it's going to ask for a name. I'm just going to use this one because every single time I like, take it down, I'm going to get a different server. So now we should be connected. Now if I run this, wait a second, connect to the instance, and yeah, so we are successfully connected. I am using like the remote kernel. I will note that just because this is we're using RunPod and not Jupyter, or sorry, Google Colab, not all the same like not all the same packages are going to be installed. So I tend to just add like an extra line up here, and then you can do like the magic installs over here. So like matplotlib. That might be all we need. Let's see. Awesome. Let's try importing again. And yay, it worked. All right. And then if you want to disconnect, like, we'll head back over here. If you want to like reconnect the instance without having to set it up or change like your password or anything, you can go ahead and just like stop the instance. and then it'll be exited. We will still be charged, but just at like a much smaller rate than we normally would if it was like actively running. Instead, it's just like saving all the stuff. Um, yeah, and now you'll know if I like go ahead and try running this, nothing's gonna happen. It's having issues connecting. And then of course the kill, you can just hit terminate, and then you'll have to do like the whole setup all over again. Um, yeah, overall not the longest process. Um, yeah, you can also connect to like the same kernel for multiple notebooks and run them at different times, or run them at the same time. That's not an issue. Why that is not an issue, I don't know. I don't know how the Jupyter servers work. Um, yeah, this is very nice because then you also save like all of this locally. You do all your development locally. At no point do I actually have to upload like the Jupyter file to anything, and so I can actually do like version control on the Jupyter notebook and everything locally, and it's quite nice. Yeah. Yeah, and then of course, when you want to upgrade and use like a more expensive one, you can just like existing server, delete this old one, and then you can add in whatever the new one is with like the H100 or whatever the kids use nowadays. All right. Thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful. You can let me know if you have any questions. Bye bye.